Right, we're carrying on with this leaf worksheet. Explain how the structure of a leaf is adapted for efficient gas exchange. Right, so the leaf, remember this how we start. The leaf has a large surface area. Right, what for? For efficient gas exchange. Right, it is thin, so you have a short diffusion distance or pathway, right? The stomata or the pores open up to allow gases to diffuse in and out. Yeah, you have the spongy meso, so it's talking about gas exchange, not photosynthesis or not anything else. Yeah, the spongy mesophil layer has what? Has gaps or air spaces or air pockets, right? So which allows and plus and is moist. So it's good putting this together in one word. And is moist, so allows gases to diffuse in and out by dissolving. Diffuse in and out by dissolving. Okay, that's a really good question to put into your head, that. Right, okay, good luck to you when you read this. You've got to read this. Desert plants are adapted, Plants that have these features are called xerophytes, whatever that means. Okay, let's keep going. And then you've got to read all this. And then you can start answering the questions. Right. Explain how having few or no leaves help cacti to reduce water. Right. So you've got less surface area. So remember, it's the opposite to a normal plant. So that means that there's fewer what? Stomata. So there's less transpiration or water transpiration, or the transpiration stream is reduced. So you get a lot of chloroplasts on the stem and not on the leaf. Okay, so how the desert plants benefit from an extremely long root? So they can get water, they can obtain water from deep in the ground or soil. And also, what are roots for? They are for anchoring to making and anchoring the plant. Plant. It makes it stable. Okay, many desert trees or shrubs have very small leaves. Explain why having small leaves would be a disadvantage for non-desert plants. Okay, so that would mean it's the opposite, isn't it? So you would have less surface area, so less photosynthesis taking place. That means that there's less so there's low surface area, so I mean that there's less CO2 for photosynthesis. For photosynthesis. And that's it. Suggests why having small leaves is less of a disadvantage. Right, okay, yeah. Remember we said the chloroplasts are in the or on the stem. And also since you have more in a desert environment sunlight and higher temperatures, you have more sunlight and higher temperatures, so the few chloroplasts that they are can do the job to keep the plant alive. There's more sunlight and what else? The temperatures are warmer. They're closer to optimum. Well, having said that, deserts can get really hot and temperatures are higher. So you don't need that many chloroplasts to get through the growing season. Okay, so we are looking at describe how rain enables germination. Okay, germination. So here's a seed. If you've got the right water and temperature conditions in soil, this will germinate. Germinate means the shoots start pushing out and the roots start pushing down. Right, so having rain will end up activating the enzymes, and so the starch can be broken down in the seed, broken down to glucose for respiration. Another advantage is, do you know the seed cover? It's called the tester. The seed cover or the tester, you can use both words, tester softens. When it softens, it's easier for the shoot and the root to come out. What are the two conditions? So you've got water, we need heat, temperature, we need oxygen, aerobic respiration, and then don't know about that, but light or sunlight. So look, so you need water, temperature, oxygen, and sunlight. I just want to see how sunlight, if it's underneath the ground. Okay, suggest why annual desert plants need to complete their reproduction very quickly, right? Because there's a short growing season. Short growing season. Right, I think that's what we need to do. Okay. Some plants, such as desert lily, reproduce using bulbs. Name this type of reproduction. It's called asexual reproduction. So remember we said you've got sexual reproduction and A mean not or away from sexual reproduction. Here you need a pollen and over egg. Here you just need runners, like in what's it called, them strawberry plants, or tubers, or bulbs. Tubers as in potatoes. Suggests an advantage of using this type of reproduction in a desert, right? So you do not need so you don't need insects, because in deserts, it's a really harsh environment. You don't have many insects carrying pollen around. Don't need insects. You can say they can survive droughts. They are adapted for the desert. Okay. Name another organ used in this type of reproduction. Another organ. Okay, so like we said, you've got runners. You've got tubers, and bulbs. I don't know if they'll allow. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with bulbs, so we'll put in bulbs. Any one of those. So remember, it's a one marker. So any one of those. Ooh. Right, okay. This is a catitid. Insects that are green and look like leaves. So if a catitid feeds on a plant, how will it affect its growth? So the first thing you write is what's going to happen to the yield, right? So you can write straight away, yeah, the growth will be reduced, so the growth will be less, the yield will be less, because you've damaged the leaves or the surface area. So there's less surface area. So what does that mean? So that means that there's less chloroplasts. So less what takes place? Photosynthesis. So what happens? So less glucose for growth. Let's write. So less glucose. My God. Glucose for growth. For grow. Right. And also, do you know when you've cut the leaf, pathogens can get in and cause diseases. The plantae. Right, starch. What did we say about starch? How would you say starch? Okay. Boil in oil. No, boil in water to kill it off. Boil in ethanol and put in there, it is flammable. So don't use Bunsen burner flame or a naked flame, right? And use water bath. I'm saying this again and again and again and again. Put this into your head and then just blurt it out. Right, once you've done that, you wash in cold water. Always add a few okay, it's only a 3 marker, but always add a few details. There's no harm, because it stays fresh in your head whilst you're revising. Wash in cold water, add iodine, and if starch is present, it will turn right, what color? Blue black or black blue? Blue black. Use goggles to protect eyes. And then you can say use tongs or gloves, but so you don't get burnt. Use gloves to protect from burns. To protect from burns. Look, listen to what I'm saying. Put all this in. That's more like a 6 marker, but if you can learn it all, they're not gonna mark you down. What is this? Oh. Okay. Oh. Okay. Come on. We can do this. We can finish this off within this video. Right. Explain the differences in the so you got Palisade mesophyll here, and then you have the spongy mesophyll. See, that's the correct name, Palisade mesophyll, and this is spongy mesophyll. Right. Explain the differences. Let's do that. Right. The Palisade has lots of chloroplasts. For what? For photosynthesis. And is located or is at the top of the leaf. What good is that? So it can capture the maximum amount of light. There you go. Right, if you look at the spongy mesophyll, the spongy mesophyll, the spongy mesophyll layer. Okay, the spongy mesophyll layer has what? What do you say? Air gaps or air pockets. Right, has air. I like to say gaps. Right, what's and is moist. So we're gonna say all this in one sentence. And is moist. This allows gases. So for example, CO2 and O2 to diffuse. Okay, let's do it in two separate parts. CO2 to, let me get that. Let's try to make it more efficient. It allows gases CO2 to dissolve and diffuse in. It also allows O2 and water to diffuse out. There you go. Yeah, so we've said it from one side. You can say it from the opposite side in terms, say that the mesophyll has less chloroplasts because there's less photosynthesis that need is towards the middle and bottom of the leaf. Okay, that's fine. I think this is the last. Right, this question here is going to ask you to evaluate the conclusion, this conclusion. What's the conclusion? Let's have a look. A student uses this method to investigate the role of leaves. 4 leaves, he covers the upper surface of 1 leaf. Right, it's like that other experiment. So let's, for example, say, oh, they've not shown it. Right, so 1 leaf they've covered neither surface, so that's your control. This one they've covered both, so we're expecting very little water loss, which is good. Can you see that gap there is the smallest? They've covered the upper leaf, so we're expecting the bottom leaf to lose most of the water anyway because it's got the stomata. And they've covered the lower leaf, so there's only a little loss. So that means that there's little to no, according to this. Is it the same gap? Yeah, it's about the same gap. So little to no, well, according to this, there's no stomata at the bottom. And this should give, how much is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a, yeah, about 6. Okay, that's fine. The student concludes transpiration occurs mainly from the upper surface of the leaves. No, I wouldn't say that. Right. If this was the case, these two would have been the other way around. Right. So what we can do is we can say I disagree with this. I disagree with this conclusion. Why? Because most mass is lost when the top is covered. That is, it is lost from the bottom surface. So stomata are at the bottom surface. There you go. It's only 3 marker. Right, okay, that was a super long one, but that shows how often the leaves come up. So that's a good one to memorize or get to grips with as a topic.